The new year is right around the corner, and I've got some bad news for you. The Nintendo Switch Game Voucher Program will be coming to an end on January 30th, 2026. After that date, you will not be able to buy Nintendo Switch game vouchers. Now, some of you might not know what these are. So basically what you can do is pay $100 for 2 game vouchers. Now, if you know about Switch game prices, they're usually around $60 for first-party Nintendo titles. So if you buy a pair of game vouchers for $100, you could buy 2 of those games for lower prices, approximately $50 each, saving $20 total in the process. Now, here's the thing. You can buy these vouchers and use them for up to 12 months after you purchase them. So as long as you buy them before January 31st, because this all ends on January 30th at 11:59 p.m., you can use them for up to 12 months afterwards. So here's the thing though, you can't use them on games that are exclusive to the Switch 2. For example, Donkey Kong Bonanza. You can't use it for that. But you can use it for games that are on both the Switch 1 and the Switch 2, such as Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, or games that have a Switch 2 edition, like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. And obviously you can use them on plenty of Switch 1 games. Now, I encourage you to buy at least 1 pair of these game vouchers if you're looking to buy Switch games at some point over the next year. Because I just bought a pair of game vouchers because there were 2 Nintendo Switch 1 games that I wanted to buy and play them on my Switch 2. Now, the best value you can get from these game vouchers, in my opinion, is by buying a Nintendo Switch 1 version of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the digital version. These game vouchers can only be used for digital versions of games, by the way. But everybody knows Tears of the Kingdom, when it came out, it cost $70 on the Switch 1. And the Switch 2 edition of the game is selling for $80, okay? But if you buy one of these game vouchers like I did, and you buy Tears of the Kingdom for the Switch 1, you're basically saving $20 right off the bat, because the game voucher you're using has a value of about $50. So you can buy the game for $50. But here's another addition to this. See, if you have a Switch 2 and you have the Nintendo Switch Online subscription with the expansion pack, you can get a free upgrade pack for Tears of the Kingdom to get the Switch 2 edition. So that's a $10 value for free. So in total, you're saving $30 on the Switch 2 edition of Tears of the Kingdom. That's what I did today. I bought Tears of the Kingdom, saved $30 on it. It was great. And for my other game voucher, you can pick from a whole bunch of titles. For example, you could buy The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and you can get the same deal with the free upgrade pack if you have Switch Online expansion pack. So you could buy Breath of the Wild with one of these vouchers. So it's like a $50 cost to you. So you're saving $10 right there. But then you can get the Switch 2 upgrade pack, another $10 value for free if you're a Switch Online expansion pack subscriber. So that's a total savings of $20 if you buy Breath of the Wild with a game voucher. Now me, on the other hand, I already have the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Breath of the Wild, so I didn't do that. There was another Nintendo Switch 1 game I wanted. I wanted it for a while, but I just never picked it up. Metroid Dread. See? Now, that is not the most recent Metroid game that came out. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is the most recent game that came out. And yes, you can use a game voucher on that game, the Switch 1 version. But, that game has gotten some questionable reviews, and I didn't feel like using my game voucher on that game. In fact, I have Metroid Prime Remastered, which is a Switch 1 game, and by all accounts, everyone thinks that's the better game. So, but here's the thing. I do want to mention something about Metroid Prime Remastered. You definitely don't want to use a game voucher for that game because the cost of that game is $40. And remember, one of these vouchers, the cost is $50. So make sure you choose the right games to make sure you're getting the most value out of the voucher. So I chose Metroid Dread, but there's plenty of other games that are eligible. Nintendo's website has a full list of what games are eligible to be, I guess, purchased with a game voucher. You can redeem a game voucher to buy the game. I just think it's a shame that they're ending this program and that like the Switch 2 exclusive titles are not eligible because video game prices, obviously everything's skyrocketing. Game console prices are skyrocketing. Cloud gaming services are skyrocketing, Xbox Game Pass. It's just going to be crazy when the new generation of consoles come out. And by the way, if you're thinking about buying a Switch 2, I suggest buying it as soon as possible while it's still affordable because they're going to raise the price of that thing at some point. I mean, they raised the Switch 1 price this year. The Switch 1 came out in 2017. Why are they raising the Switch 1 price in 2025? I mean, obviously it's because of tariffs and other economic conditions, and they kind of want to convince you to buy the new console, the Switch 2 console, but the Switch 2 is going to get more expensive in the future. It is. I mean, this is the cheapest you can get it. So go out and get it. That's why I got it, and try to get it on a payment plan. If you want to lessen the blow of the total cost of the console, that's what I did. I got an 18-month, no interest, no fee payment plan through my credit card. So if you can get something like that, definitely do it. But yeah, I just wanted to bring this whole game voucher thing to your attention because this program is ending on January 30th. It's been around for a while, and it's a good deal, especially since, everybody always hates the fact that Nintendo rarely drops the prices of their games. I mean, they usually do it on like Black Friday or during the holiday season. They have some sales, but even those sales are not that great. But yeah, if you don't have Tears of the Kingdom, definitely use a game voucher to buy it. If you don't have Breath of the Wild, definitely use a game voucher to buy it. And if you do have those two games, it's still a good value because you can get tons of different Switch 1 games that maybe you haven't gotten. I mean, there's tons like Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. They remade that game, and I believe that's eligible to be purchased with a game voucher. There's tons of them. You can see them on there. I'm just, sounding the alarm now while it's still 2025. So you guys still have about a month left for you to buy these game vouchers. Thank you for watching.